Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you for our 50th episode on the Impact Defense Podcast. In this episode, we do have a special guest, and we are running just a little long. I hope you guys enjoy it, though. We get a bit off topic. We get very off topic, but I hope you guys do enjoy the conversation.
We'd like to take just a moment to thank our sponsor, Faith and Freedom Clothing. They've got some fantastic t-shirts. If you use the coupon code IMPACTDEFENSE, you can get 25% off of your purchase. But don't use it on your first purchase, because on your first purchase, they give you 40% off.
So yes, it is the 50th episode, and we have a special guest, a good friend, former student of mine, Steven.
No, I don't like former student. I'm still like a student. I come back like once a year.
All right, I'm sorry.
I trash talk all your students, and we learn stuff.
All right, that's cool.
Like current belated, belated attendance.
It's now time for the news portion of the podcast with your host, me. An off-duty police officer waiting to pick up her children from their school in Brazil. Yes, she.
Oh.
In Brazil, shot an intruder who later died at the hospital.
You're not supposed to ask anymore. Bet they didn't put my pronouns in the news article, but okay.
Okay. She was waiting for her children outside of the school when a man dressed in shorts and a dark hooded sweatshirt charged towards her and other parents with a pistol in his right hand. She is seen on footage from May 12th, drawing her own pistol and firing multiple shots, dropping the man to the pavement. She kicked away his weapon and trained her gun on him before he was transported to the local hospital where he was pronounced dead. On Sunday, she was thanked for her heroics with a bouquet of orchids, and the governor of the city said, she intervened against a young man who assaulted kids and their families with a gun. She was off duty and she didn't have to do it. Congratulations to this military police officer. Congratulations to her husband and to all mothers of the state.
I'm pretty sure that I've actually seen the video of that, and it's quick. If it's the same one.
This is the lady in the pink shirt that just...
Yeah, dude just comes rolling up with a gun, and she just comes out of her purse and goes bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And he's down in front of a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's off duty. The only people she's setting up court dates for is with Jesus. But yeah, I've seen that too, and it's quick. The only thing I didn't like is that she just comes up and then kicks the gun into the crowd, and it's like, I don't know those people, same way I don't know that guy.
That's true. He may have friends you don't know that.
You might want to it's Brazil.
Pick that up. I'm convinced that half of Brazil is off-duty police officers, and the other half.
I think it has to be.
Yeah, I'm relatively certain. But then again, if you just have basically alligators so accessible that you can use them as improvised weapons, then it's like I'd want a heavy police presence too.
See, I tried to find one from America, but the problem is the only stories that they do about... I was trying to find something that had to do with police officers because of our guest.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is the only stories that they report on that is like you guys using tourniquets and things like that to save lives, and I'm gonna be like, that's not a self-defense story.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to think.
I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah, tourniquets are important.
Yeah. So what we didn't mention is that Steven is a current student who just makes it here about once a year or so, and
belated attendance, yes,
and is a current also a North Carolina police officer. So
yay for that.
Yeah, and this is so it's pretty awesome. I called up Steven. I said, "Hey, man, we're doing this podcast. We've been doing it, and we need a good, fun podcast for our 50th episode. You want to come jump on?" And he's usually down for whatever. So he's like, yes. And I will bring all kinds of gear. So if you're watching this, because we have a video version of this as well, you may see in the background guns, a few more guns.
You'll see about $4,000 worth of crap. And
I told him they would look really good on the podcast.
Fun story. I got pulled over on the way over here. I was speeding, and it was by a guy that I went through the academy with, and he came up, and the first thing I said was, "I don't answer questions." And, Then he asked the question, what is with all the crap in your back seat? And I'm like, just doing hood rat stuff, man. And he goes, yeah, okay, go ahead. And so he just let me go, and which is weird for a North Carolina state trooper. That doesn't happen very often. But, make friends with your troopers, folks. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, go to the academy. You don't have to become a police officer, but you'll probably run into those guys again. It's a good way to build rapport. It costs a couple $1,000s, but it's a good way to build rapport if you don't have a job and stuff. So,
and depending on how much speeding you do, it could save you some money.
I do all of it, but I mean, no, I don't. Moving on. What's the topic?
So
I have no idea what the topic of today is.
That's right. The only person I actually told was Steven. So what we were going to talk about was just like training and real world training, and then putting that training into real world context. So like we've all done training. So
I wasn't aware.
You wasn't aware that you did training? Yeah. So
she's just been showing up and sitting around and watching people
I
hit each
thought
other.
this was knitting.
So okay, and you probably don't know this. They're both also like certified pistol instructors.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I
And
said.
rifle,
You probably don't know this. Yeah, and rifle, certified pistol and rifle instructor. So yeah, we get around quite a bit with the training now. So
I'm with it.
yeah, absolutely. So
Awesome. You need to have me come down for the next concealed carry handgun class you have and stuff like that.
that's Saturday.
I'm working Saturday.
I do it every month.
After that.
And then next time I do one of those integrated combatives things, you'll have to come. You would. I think
Okay.
we take a field trip to Walmart.
Man, it's where all the magic happens.
We go to Walmart,
Walmart
at
in itself is a self.
we go to Walmart somewhere between 9 and 9:30 on a Friday night, and everybody comes in and goes, "Whoa!"
Which was weird because I wasn't there this Friday when he did it, but my husband and I were at Walmart just a couple hours before they went, and it was crazy. Like, people were acting insane.
Well, yeah.
And
Yes,
unfortunately,
like
by 9:30,
more than usual, and it was crowded. Like, people were going crazy, and I was just like, "Oh, they're gonna have an interesting night." Well, I leave, and a couple hours later, they get there, and I was like, "How was Walmart last night?" And he goes, "It was really quiet. Like, nothing happened."
yeah, it's the
I was like,
suckiest one
"What?"
we've done so far.
Wait, did
So
the
if he'd have
Walmart
been there
open back up
2
24
hours
hours
earlier.
here? The ones at home still shut off at like 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, I think they close down at 11.
So I guess that's everybody's got to go home and tweak there instead of walking around the
Yeah.
halls and
So
scratching.
we did this, but we did this back in April, and in April, I had a guy who's like he's very aware.
Yeah.
Like I thought this was gonna I doubted very seriously this was going to teach him a whole lot. He came out and goes, "Oh my gosh!" Jada saw somebody stealing deodorant. They used deodorant and then put it back on
deodorant
the
and then
shelf.
putting it back.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, I will never
And I was like,
ever
and now I'm
use
only
deodorant or grab
going to
deodorant
use-
from the
yeah.
first.
Yeah, you got to get deodorant like you get milk. You get it from the back.
I
Yeah.
get them in 2
Right.
packets because they're wrapped in plastic.
I ordered mine
That's fair.
from Sam's online because they come in a nice box already pre-capped and everything. It's just
true.
sealed up. So, yeah, especially after
I
hearing
just get
that.
the 2-pack.
So, but then
Especially since my husband and I use the same deodorant.
Kylie was walking around with another lady, and they got followed by some idiot. They're wearing Impact Defense apparel. They're getting followed by this guy, 3 dudes, and these were not super small dudes. We're following him, following the girls,
They could be a biker gang, is what they look like.
pretty much.
But they're
And he didn't realize he was being followed. So we had a lot of fun the last time we did it, but this time was just kind of it's just not nearly
You
as
got to
much.
advance on the advancers. He's just left sleeping in the corner somewhere. Put his unconscious body. His buddies will find him. You stick a little Apple Air tag in his pocket. And
Anyway, training. We're probably going to get off topic quite a bit. We've already discussed I'm a bit ADD as it is and tend to rabbit trail. And when I have a friend like Steven who is just as bad as me, there is no telling where our conversations may go.
it's really
So-
not. Yeah. It's your fault you invited me. So.
I know. No, but I invited you with a purpose. I told Jada and Kylie, I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite Steven because there's no way if I can get him down here for this that it will not be entertaining and fun.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Steven looks at the mic and goes, I'm entertaining.
Well,
you better remember it. Now I'm going to find all your IP addresses. Leave weird stuff in your mailbox.
Benefits of being a police officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find an IP address. I'm not savvy.
But you got friends, right?
Yeah, but I got friends that could probably do it. If I told them I was going to leave weird stuff in people's mailboxes, they'd probably go ahead and do it for me, to be honest. Like, they're like, yeah, that's weird, but all right. Like, take pictures. Like, who left this week-old hot dog in my mailbox? Like, it doesn't matter.
All right.
I knew
I keep
a family
looking
who
at
would
my
leave
coffee cup
live
like
rats
it's going to
in people's
magically
mailboxes.
make more.
We can
Like the small. No, it's fine. Like,
My aunt and
but the
uncle.
fact that it's there, I just,
we're gonna need to I know this is why I have these big coffee cups that I use.
Yeah.
So because I know it's kind of almost like never ending. So
Yeah.
no, it's not. I usually drink 2 to 3 these a day.
I quit drinking coffee at work and I started drinking Bang because it's basically just methamphetamine light in a can. And so you feel it, like you drink it and you feel like you can fight people and jump over stuff. And I definitely know I can't, but it's like
So if something's about to go down, do you just throw back a Bang really quick?
I throw back a Bang. It's like, in Skyrim when you start getting low on health and you eat 30 cabbages. And then, it's the same thing, basically. It's like energy levels just boost. I just walk in and say weird stuff all day and then take somebody to jail. It's pretty much what I do.
It's freaking awesome. Anyway.
So training line.
I've already given the forewarnings. This is going to be rabbit trails all over the place. All right, so let's do this. Let's all do this. I'm kind of curious. Best training experience. What was your best, I did this thing and it was freaking awesome and, whatever.
It really just depends on and what context. In general, I think one of the things that has helped me the most is less of a training experience and for competition and stuff like that, and that stress inoculation and stuff like that. I didn't realize how much that actually helps you until the blue lights and sirens come on and that's time to go, and you're like, oh, and then you're like, why am I comfortable? Okay, you just kind of get used to getting that
right, but let's stick with training for just a moment.
Training for handgun especially. Taps Pistol by Pat McNamara. Mm-hmm. He trains in Sanford. He's like a 22-year Special Forces dude, 14 in Delta, probably killed more people in cancer. Yeah. Really, really cool guy. Does a thing. He's got a couple books out for people that like to read. I don't know if that's a thing. I know you like to read. Can you read yet? But he has Sentinel, which is probably one of the best books on mindset and preparedness that I've ever read, and Taps, which is just tactical applications of practical shooting. So either way, Taps Pistol. I came there an okay shooter, and I left a significantly better one. Yeah, like a noticeably better shooter, and just fundamentals much crisper. Everything was ironed out by the end of that class. It's so noticeably, and it's carried with me for years. And I'm also taking that class or a variation of it 4 times. So
it helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say I've given Pat a good amount of money. He's a good dude too. Yeah, he's a good guy. So North Carolina area, you should go train with Pat McNamara. He's a bad dude.
Yeah. Kylie, best training experience.
I liked the integrated combatives. So
you know what she just did? She just sucked up because I'm the one that taught that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've already got all the Browning points. The man made you.
It was fun to watch her through that, because there's all these for the most part, she and Jada and everybody else in that one that they did was grown. And they were doing shooting and fighting and grappling and knives and all the fun stuff.
Sounds like fun.
It's fun. It's fun. Level 1's just foundation for everything. Yeah. I'm teaching level 1 and level 2 in the spring next year, both of them.
Okay.
That's Yeah.
Let me know the dates. I'll put in vacation for those days and make sure I can make it down here.
Yeah. Jada?
I don't know. I don't know how you would qualify best training experience, but for me, like, the most eye-opening one was when I first joined the adult class instead of the kids classes, and we started doing gun defense. And I got to see how that actually works. But I think it was just the first time my adrenaline hit differently in a training experience in here. Because...
Notice that they both use me.
That's true. I just assume you quit feeding her if she said you, but like...
Well, everybody just thinks she's my daughter, so there's that.
Oh, okay.
Well, like, I enjoyed going to the pistol training and everything, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't my best training
And I get
experience.
you guys haven't trained with him as much as I have. So, Tim Gordon, and he's up in the Hudson, Lenore kind of area.
Okay.
Former...
Sorry,
he's,
Tim, if you're listening to this.
So anyway, so we were up there. I went up there to train him. He was a former small arms instructor for SEALs Team 2 and 4. Retired in 2004 as a SEAL himself, and another just bad dude. And kind of similar situation. My shooting went from I'm a pretty decent shooter to holy crap, I'm like,
and it makes a difference in the people that like you don't know what you don't know. And you kind of have to realize that you don't know stuff to go take training, because as far as I'm concerned, for dudes especially, like every dude thinks that they can fight, thinks they can shoot, thinks they can drive, and thinks they can do bedroom stuff. And most of the time they can maybe do one of those things well. But every dude's ego tells them they can do that stuff. But if you've never taken like serious defensive driving classes where you're having to cut tight corners and drive fast and chase people and stuff like that, you never done it. And even and even like low level stuff, you don't know if you can drive or not. And even just stuff they do for standard police officers. People are like wrecking cones. There was a kid I didn't like in the academy, and he was setting up cones, and I was wrecking cones on purpose. It was funny. I failed a whole portion of it because I was just like, they were like, why'd you hit all those cones? And I was like, I really didn't like that kid. I wanted to see him put them back up, and I know I got a second shot at it. Is it nice? No. Is it funny? Yeah. They thought it was funny too. Like most people, if you've never taken a legitimate shooting course from somebody who's really like a high level dude, you probably don't know. Like you can go, you can hit grandpop's pop can sitting on the fence and stuff like that. But
I have guys like incredible marksmen come through my class. But then the moment I start teaching them to run and shoot and do different things like that, they're like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different world.
For me, the timer. Like people, people who are good with the timer, if they're just sitting there on the range, you can skin that smoke wagon out and get to it and whatever else, and especially dudes that are come up in cities with indoor ranges where they're 1 shot per second, so you never get to fire fast. So if you get to fire, 3 rounds for time, first off, hearing that beep gives you it's just the sound of a little bit of poop coming out. I don't know why it freaks everybody out, and then it's. But eventually you're the beat becomes, okay, I can now begin.
Yeah.
So that's when you start seeing the improvement. It's like an allowance rather than, you have to start right now.
Level 1 is what I just taught, and I had guys just starting walking forward and shooting while moving forward and working double taps and different things like that, and kind of getting used to holding that gun in such a way where you can shoot very quickly and stay on target. And guys were like, I've never, ever done this. One guy, probably my favorite, I had this dude who was a Marine, and I'll go ahead and apologize to every Marine that ever hears this.
For the record, it's their birthday, so you got to be careful with the words, or they're going to come in here and be chewing crayons.
Today?
Yeah, today.
Well, it doesn't matter. This won't come out to Monday.
Oh, okay. For all the Marines out there, it's their birthday today.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday, Marine Corps.
Well, this guy calls me up. He's from Georgia. He says, all right, I want to come take your class. He wanted to get as far as NRA is considered, there's nothing higher defensive shooting than what I've done.
Right.
And he wanted to take their highest level. And I'm like, all right, dude. So I'm talking to him. He's in Georgia, and I'm like, okay, so you're gonna have to shoot under time. You have to draw. You have to clear malfunctions. Everything's under time. It's all this stuff. And he's like, his words were, I can shoot anything from 2 feet to 2 miles away. I said, oh, okay, cool. And we
You don't have to shoot 2 miles, bro.
and we're sitting there and we're continuing our conversation and everything. And so I call him back up. I don't remember what it was. He did something. I don't know. Anyway, I call him back up and said something. He goes, no, I'll be fine. I can shoot anything from 2 feet to 2 miles away. I'll be fine. I was all right. So he gets here that morning, and it's like 80 rounds or so, and it's everywhere from 3 yards to 15 yards away, and it's all under stress and time, and you're shooting on a timer. And he sits there and he failed over and over and over again. And I showed him like, okay, you failed because you missed. You can't miss the target in 80 rounds at all.
Yeah.
If you miss that silhouette, you're done. You're out. And my end was just the class he has to take before he go get certified to do it. And I'm saying, okay, no, you failed there. You failed there. You had too many shots in the D zone. You failed there. And he was like, and he looked at me and he goes, I've never shot under a timer before. I've never shot. He told me, he says, I've never shot like having to draw and shoot. I'm like, you can shoot anything from 2 feet to 2 miles away.
Like, yeah, but I already have my gun out. It's different.
I already have my gun out and I have 5 minutes per shot, man. Come on.
Like, yeah, and so I took a fast and accurate. It's a rifle and handgun course. It was at point blank, but now the guy that's doing it, I think it's Richardson Defense Training, Daniel Richardson. Good dude, buddy of mine. He's got a class coming up. He's got a class coming up with Larry Vickers and stuff. I think sometime next year. Yeah, really,
definitely heard Larry Vickers.
Really cool dude. Yeah, but Daniel's such a good shooter. Like it almost makes you sick to watch.
Yeah,
he is the guy that he is the guy with like single hand on a B8 Bulls target at 50 yards, and he will he'll silver dollar it. And so you walk up to it and you're like, yeah, hey, I hit the paper, and he's like, hey, yeah, I chewed a hole right here. Check this out. And I'm like I don't want to play with you anymore. So I'm gonna go play with the other kids.
So, and I don't think I've told this one on the podcast. I was talking to a guy. It was when I was starting. I was a brand new pistol instructor, and I was sitting there talking to the guy that's the head over the education part of the North Carolina Department of Justice, like for the concealed carry program and stuff like that. He's head of the education, and I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah. So he's a professional shooter. I was like, so what's your what your favorite drill for accuracy and stuff like that? He goes, oh, it's the hieroglyphic drill. I was, never heard of it. He said, take a blank piece of cardboard, stand 7 yards away, so 21 feet, and shoot anywhere on the cardboard. I thought, we're good so far. And he says, then your next shot has to shoot and touch the bullet hole from your last one. And he says, and then the next one has to touch the other two. And then so on. I was like, no, we're done talking. I'm going to go back over here and talk to these. It's like, we are in two completely different leagues. So
yeah,
putting some of our training to use in any way whatsoever. Let's start over here since you're not seeing a whole lot, and to keep Stephen from pushing you out of the chair.
I'll say it's backwards next time.
Honestly, where she's sitting right now would be super simple to push her right now. Just like.
It's a good thing that's padded.
And this is why Steven is so much fun, because so many people in here haven't known me as long and hasn't known her as long, and they're always like, maybe I shouldn't do something to her because it might make you mad. Steven's like, nah, he'll get a laugh out of this and throw her out. I'm not doing it to you. So anyway, putting training to use.
Then again, I've also almost known you 15 years.
Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
How old were you when you started?
Feel like 11 or something like that. Yeah. Does that make you feel old?
Oh yeah.
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 Almost. How old are you right now?
25.
25, yeah. All right, using some of your training.
Okay, well, I've used awareness before.
Use awareness. Yeah,
Well, there was this one time that I was at my grandmother's house, and this guy came up to the door, and Grandma signaled me to come over here. She said, watch my back. So I was leaning against the wall, and I was just staring this guy down. And while I was staring this guy down, his eyes would lock on mine and then go back to Grandma. And he was talking about really weird stuff. Anyway, and so in my mind I was thinking
made Julie really mad.
Huh?
She opened the door, the screen door. She opened the screen door to talk to her.
Yeah.
To him.
Yeah. She got a lecture from my wife.
Yes.
Yeah. After this was all over.
I imagine she did.
It's like, what the freak? Mom, you don't know who this guy is?
And then so I was thinking through my head, now what could happen if he comes in the door? And then I look down and there's a chair. So I'm thinking in my head, I could use the chair to push him back down the stairs and hopefully he'll fall and go away.
Yeah, in moments like that, I feel really proud. So if he starts coming up the steps, we're going to shove him right back down with the chair.
I'm going to hit him with the chair.
It's like, that's my girl.
Anyway, I didn't have to do that. The guy ended up going the opposite way that my grandma told him to, but it's fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very, very sketchy situation.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
said
that's
some really
when
weird
we
things.
had
She was at least not inviting. She was at least not like, oh, come on inside or anything like that.
I
But
would
yeah,
be-
Have a cup of coffee.
yeah, Jill was like, Mom, what are you doing? So
Meanwhile, Kylie's behind her, planning to hit him with a chair. So
If he comes in,
Like, yeah. I'm just like, what do you want? We ain't got that. Go on. Like,
it was exactly like that.
go and get. Then again, I don't like my neighbors. We have these crazy crackhead neighbors.
I like some of my neighbors.
I like my neighbors because anytime a new vehicle enters our driveway, like any vehicle that they have never seen before, they call us just like, you know these people because they're in your driveway. And we're just like, yes, that's such and such. Or, no, we don't know that vehicle. And they're like, we'll watch them.
I like nosy neighbors, like they're cool and stuff. But like one of them, he's a retired officer, but he's never at home, so it's like, he's off doing hood rat stuff. I don't really know what he does. I've talked to him like once. He leaves his dog outside all the time, so I'll like walk over there and play with his dog. But like other than that, that's pretty much it. Like he's just like this poor old fat lab that's just waddling around everywhere. So I let Odin go run around there with him and stuff because he ain't got nothing better to do. What's he gonna do? Leave? And so and then the neighbors just across the street, they're what we call Mexican Americans.
Hey, we got some of those across the street diagonally as well.
Yeah, they are proponents of modern chemistry is what they are. And so, they're always down there tweaking and stuff. And it's one in particular, and I find out when she's in jail, we ain't got those kinds of problems.
Same here.
Yeah, but when she's out, I guess, like, she trades on prescriptions or something to, like, mow the lawn or whatever else. And they live in this, like, kind of... Oh, it almost looks like an aircraft carrier. Really, it is like what it looks like, like a cheap one, but where it's like domes over at the top and it's got the slab sides. So they used to live in this single wide that was condemned, and then they told them
what ours live in right now, actually.
Yeah, and they couldn't. They got told they couldn't live there anymore, so they went and found like an RV and pulled it in there, and they run a generator out of it, and that's where like 5 people live.
That is hilarious because that is so similar to the story, except that it is a condemned trailer. They won't turn the power onto it or anything like that because it's condemned, and they run a generator to keep power on.
Yeah, and they just get in there and toke Terry's turbo crystals out of light bulbs and stuff. It's their favorite. Yeah.
No, thankfully our neighbors are much better. There was this one time.
Most of our neighbors are great. We just have that like one set that everybody around wants them to leave.
Well, there's that like Read Across America Day, and everyone at this homeschool co-op that I used to go to would dress up as Dr. Seuss characters, and my dad went full on decked out as the Cat in the Hat. Well, my dad's an eccentric being, and so about a mile away from our house, he's like, "Let me out of the car." He's like, "I'm gonna walk home dressed as the Cat in the Hat." So we let him out. We drive home. We pull in, and so 30 minutes later, he starts coming up into our driveway as the Cat in the Hat. Immediately our phone rings. I'm like, I bet that's the neighbors. And they're like, you guys know the Cat in the Hat? And we're like, yeah, that's Dad. They're like, okay,
Yeah,
just wanted to make sure.
I've been like, nah. Like Mike Myers? Like, has he got the baseball bat? Like,
Yeah, but
no, we don't know that guy.
wait, so we're talking about using our training.
We were talking about using the training, and then we got off on other fun things.
Yeah.
No, mine has
That's okay.
mostly been just like creating barriers and stuff and keeping personal space to avoid really having to have an altercation.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Steven's situations are much more interesting.
Well, the fact that he chose a career that's going to put him into situations that he can't avoid them.
Yeah, no, you really can't.
Yeah.
I was like, most of it is just like how you learn to talk to people. There's a book by Dr. Thompson called Verbal Judo, which is really really solid. And Doc Rhino's a cool guy. But, you know, so like I read that. I kind of realized how to kind of take control of the conversations and stuff like that again. And it's just pretty neat. And most of the time, about 90% of it's how you talk to people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll have, like, my original FTO was a big old bag of douche. And is that fine to say?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll say I think that fits in PG-13. But he was. And so I ended up in more fights and chases and stuff like that because this guy would just show up and, like, you know, just, I'm the law, and just, you know, and like being there and telling people to shut up and, like, whatever else. And it's like, yeah, I've told people to shut up before. Sometimes they got to know to shut up. But usually you try and lay it on a little nicer than that. Like, you know, you kind of, I want to give them the idea of shutting up without letting them know that, like, you know, like
You want it to be their idea.
Yeah, I want them to think it's like their own idea to just shut their mouth and go sit in the corner and like and like not be a problem. But you know, but I'm not gonna be like shut up all the time, you know. And so we ended up in stuff all the time. Because he's like, oh, I'm just a big old magnet. And I'm like, no, you're a jerk, bro. It's because you suck. You know, he's fun to work with, though.
Always made things
Because you're into stuff. Yeah, you're into stuff, and I'll be like, you're doing paperwork for this, bro, because that wasn't my fault. Like, 1, 2, 3, not it. Like, you know, and then you work with people who are really, you know, like more passive, and those are the guys like, you know, that have been around for a while and like been in the fights and been like beat up before, and you know, or just been somewhere where they have no backup and you have to talk to these people.
Yeah,
you know, those are the people that I like to work with because it's generally you get your desired result and you don't have to like, you know, tackle anybody and break your stuff, and you know, you have to like tear pants, and then you have to write like all these emails to get new pants and stuff like that. You know, and you have to remind the office manager 5 times, and like, you know, you tell the sergeant and he forgets because he got blown up in Iraq and he doesn't remember anything. You know I'm talking about you if you can hear this. No, but it's like it's you know, it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm really not. It's great, but like, you know, and they always give me the stuff that I need and all that. But like, you know, it's easier to talk to people, and I'll generally take that extra 5 minutes. So like my first one was really like, you know, rah, all the time, and then the second one was like the lieutenant of patrol at the time, and he would like stand there and plead with people for an hour to like get them to do what you want to do. I'm not that guy.
Somewhere in between.
I'm like, yeah, I'm somewhere in between. I'll give you a couple extra minutes, but if we're not going it, we gonna go. Like I got better stuff to do than stand here and talk to you. Like we gonna figure this out some way. We gonna do it right now. Like, and I'm just nice about it. So like one of the verbal judo things is actually you know, when people are taking over a conversation, kind of like I am right now, and you know, just not letting anybody else talk.
You're good. No. I can jump in anytime.
You're here to do the
but so
I'm used to you. I don't mind taking over if I want
That's
to.
true.
So you're good.
Yeah, so it's actually like paraphrasing for people. I don't know if you've tried this when people are just like talking and freaking out and going nuts, and they're like, you know, trying to tell you about what happened, and you're like, hang on, wait, but let me make sure I got this right. You know, can I just paraphrase this? So, and then just like, okay, so like this happened, then this happened, then this happened, right? Okay, cool. So here are your options, and now they're like, oh, okay, I need to shut up because he's going to tell me what I said. I was really interested in what I was talking about. Yeah. Like, I love hearing me.
Like, that is true, and I can't say that I've ever like done that. Mm-hmm. I've been in some situations where I've had to like talk myself, and like where I used to work, and I know I've told the story where I had to go find my coworker. He chased down somebody and 2 people come out from a house, and I mean, they were just lots of things they said to us that I can't say on the podcast. And as soon as I get out of my truck, I find them. As soon as I get out of my truck, the first thing my friend does is says, all right, now go ahead. And I was like, oh, this is not what I expected.
Not the introduction. Like,
so, yeah. And then it was just a whole bunch of like trying to get my friend to shut up and trying to get them to calm down so I can get him out of there.
Yeah, that is like the "we caught you stealing" equivalent of "it's John Cena."
No, I've never done the paraphrasing thing with another adult before, but I do it with kids in class all the time.
Yeah. But like on with the situational awareness stuff. Which, I mean, this story comes from a bad decision on my part because I grew up in that area and, like, I know what's there, but I also needed gas. So it was my fault for letting my car run out of gas. But either way, gas light comes on, I stop off in Winston off Akron, right? So I'm like, whoo, yeah. So we in the hood. Like, so, you know, I just kind of whip up. I think it's like the Citgo gas station down there. And either way, it's like 10 o'clock at night, just perfect primo crackhead hours. They just woke up. You know, they're off tweaking through the streets, you know, looking for quarters and couch cushions and stuff that are left on the side of the road so they can get their fix for the day. And so, yeah, I'm in there, and I'm like, you know, I walk in to pay for my gas, and I come back out, and the guy's like, hey, help me with $1. I don't know what that means. I'm like, do you need me to pick up $1? Like,
did you drop it and can't bend over?
Yeah, like, are you good? And he's like, hey, man, help me with $1. Let me get a, he's like, help me with $1. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. And he's like, hey, man, let me get Black and Mild. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. I was like, you can go in and ask him for it. And I was like, I don't have any to start with. Like I don't smoke Black and Milds. I respect myself. And so I went to the car and I pumped the gas. I get in the car, lock the doors, you know, just standard procedure. Get in, boom, lock the door. And I, you know, pick up my phone, answer a text. And dude pulls my door handle. First off, no. Absolutely not.
So this goes back to a good general safety rule. Get in your vehicle, lock your freaking doors the moment you get in your vehicle, especially if you're in a situation like that.
Yeah, and if that's
location before you pull out your phone.
Yeah.
And if that's rule 1, rule 2 is stay strapped or get clapped. That's the next thing that happened is he sees gun through my window and then probably some things I can't say here. And so he's like, oh, no. And I'm like, and like, you know, so as I'm like yelling on the inside of the car, I'm just making sure he can hear me. And, so, you know, and he like kind of like backs up and walks off. And, you know, so I'm like, tactical. I've still got my gun out. I'm like, you know, I ready. You know, I'm like moving through and I throw the, like, you know, I put it back in because I don't want anybody else to come and like steal the gas because I'm not like, so I put it back because I'm not a heathen. Like shut my gas cap, get back in my car, and then reholster and drive off. But don't stop for gas in the hood. And if you do stop for gas in the hood, lock your doors. I'm just curious if I bought that guy Black and Mild if he'd left or if he was just like, bet this guy's got money, I'm gonna try and rob him.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what his plan was for like sitting down in my car, but I really wasn't trying to figure it out. Like,
you remember Lewis and I were off somewhere and kind of a similar situation. We were right in the middle of the hood. We were driving off, and this was before like GPS was on everybody's phone. And we were riding around for some type of, I don't remember if it was for a fight that somebody was doing or if it was for whatever. But we were down in the middle of the hood.
But you were with Lewis, so something hood rat was going to happen eventually anyway.
But anyway, we're riding around, and we pull in this place in the middle of the hood because I need gas. And I go into this place, and as I'm going in, there's this guy. He's obviously messed up already, and he's like, "Hey man, hey, can I get $1? Can I get $1?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." I'm just trying to be nice. I thought I'm just going to hand him $1 and send him on his way. And I give him $1, and we head on in. We buy whatever we're buying. I get the guy some money for cash. I come back out. Same dude comes back around like he had not seen me before, and starts in. And Lewis just jumps in and says, he already gave you money, you crackhead. Get your butt on down the road. It's like, well, that's one way to do it. So,
yeah, like, and they'll just like walk up, try and invade your space, and you're like, nah.
Yeah,
like,
and I always keep everybody at a distance, but you know,
I've been blessed to be right near my car where I could just open the door, get in, lock the door, and drive away as they're trying to walk to me.
Yeah,
but you know, I've always been one of those people. It's like I generally, not always, and it depends on the situation. Sometimes I will give somebody a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Okay. And because you never know. I mean, the person might. And the fact of the matter, what I've said many times is, because my wife will get on to me a lot for that. But, you know, I was sitting there going, like, that person may really actually need it. And then if they have shown, if I don't know, I will generally give them a little money. But if they have shown me in ways where it's like, oh, no, you're messed up, I'm not, then, you know, I'll just tell them no. This guy wasn't sure about it first. The second time around, though, it was really obvious. You know, so I just like, I'm going to let Lewis scream at him a little bit. It's all good.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just like, keep your distance, you know, keep my awareness up, and I'll give you a little bit of money. But
you know, there's this, like where I work part time. I work for a company, police department part time, and you know, we're down in Charlotte, and so I'm like in uniform, you know, and I'm down there. I'm working. There's this little Circle K, and it's like, you know, for whatever reason, that's Crackhead Central. Everything around it's kind of nice. Like it's not bad. It's like close to downtown Charlotte, but like this one Circle K, like my buddy Rivera and this other dude. I mean, they got in a shooting down there, and he ends up smoking this kid, and it's a gang shooting between two people, and they just happen to have been like sitting there. And so, you know, they're like, boom, and they're shooting, and then one dude turns and points his gun at them, and he's like, and so he smokes him, and, you know, they pulled 3 slugs out of that dude's back. He shot him in the front, pulled 3 slugs out of that dude's back, and he lived. So you just really can't kill a cockroach. But either way. But either way, so, like, I'm in this kind of rough gas station, and you know, but it's like, yeah, it's nice enough. It's newish, but you know, there's homeless people sleeping outside and whatever in it. But it's Charlotte,
so it's newish in a bad area.
Yeah.
Like, I got you.
So you know, so I'm standing there and I'm talking to the girl at the counter, and I'm getting some stuff, and this dude just walked right up to me like girlfriend close, and I'm like, bro, you need to back up. And I put my hand on his chest, and he's like, don't put your hands on me. And I'm about to put more of my hands on you if I back up. And he's like, all right. Hey, let me get $1 though. And I'm like, no. And I was like, how you gonna start like that and then ask me for $1? And he's like, man, just let me get $1. And I'm like, no. And he's like, F the police. And walks off, and I'm like, bro, like, it's just no courtesy. Like, you know, you like walk up on me, I don't know you. If he was like my buddy or something and he wanted to come mess with me, whatever, that's fine. But I'm over here and I'm about to throw hands on a Circle K that like isn't even technically in my jurisdiction at this point. Like when I wanted to bang and like, and he comes walking up to me, I got no caffeine in my system. I'm kind of pissed off because I'm working all the time, and like you just gonna walk up on me and then like then ask me for $1? No, like yeah. I gotta put my hand on this. I was like, bro, you need to back up. He's like, don't put your hands on me. And I'm like, better put more of my hands on you. Like, we're about to go rounds. Like, I'm a hood booger too. I'll like, come down here. I'll fight in a Circle K. I don't care. It's not okay.
No, I agree. You know, it's just the whole thing about personal space, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, you want to ask me from across the parking lot? I might give you $1. You know, but if like you can come up and breathe on me, like,
yeah, we always talk about like how close do you let people get and everything. You know, kids and adults is probably like completely different, but like it just depends. You know, it's going to depend on how big that person is compared to, you know, you might need a little more distance.
I roll my window up and drive away, which sounds rude, but really they shouldn't be coming close to someone.
It's all good.
COVID has been like my favorite thing for that, because for whatever reason, like, you know, and especially kind of small town places, people like come up close to you, and I don't like people anyway. So it's like, you know, and they're like, I'm like, bro, COVID, you back up. 6 feet, dog.
Although it is. I don't know. My assumption was I haven't been super bothered about that since COVID started. I was like, are crackheads afraid that I'm going to give them COVID if they come up and ask me for money?
See, the thing I don't get with crackheads is
like I'm going to be the thing that kills them?
The thing I don't get about crackheads is like they're the first ones to walk down the street outside by themselves with a mask on. But you smoke crack. Like, and he's just like, oh, where'd this pipe come from? Your butt? Cool. Like, yeah, I'm gonna spark this up real quick. Like, no, it's not okay. Like, but they're like, don't breathe on me, bro. Give me COVID. I don't know if there's like a smoker's lung for crack. I think that's just called dead. But but yeah, like just. You're gonna smoke out of a broken crack pipe from somebody's butthole, but you're not gonna let them breathe on you. It's not okay.
I think Kylie's sitting over there going, what have I gotten myself into?
Pretty much.
All right, guys, I know we got really off topic and all that. I really do hope you enjoyed it, though. If you are looking for any kind of self-defense tool that is not, you know, a gun or something like that, check out theatomicbear.com. You can use the coupon code IMPACTDEFENSE, gets you 20% off of any of their tactical pens, knives, or anything they have to offer.
Don't forget to leave this podcast a 5-star rating and write a review. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in the next podcast. Stay safe, stay alert, and bye.
See you guys.
Bye.